Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 15, episode 9, and today we play Manchester United in a crucial game at the top of the Premier League table, as technically the title race is still in our hands. Yes, it's with games in hand, a huge fixture congestion coming up, and some really difficult games to finish the season, but technically if we win every game, we will be champions, as long as we win one game by more than one goal. United are down in 7th, but just 5 points separate us, so it is really close up there, and we could yet finish in that position too. If it all goes wrong, we may end up down there, but we're hoping to look up rather than down, and at the very least get into the top 4 to try and secure Champions League qualification. To do that, we've got to win one of our games in hand, although they are all just 2 days apart, so that is going to be a little bit difficult, but fingers crossed we've got a squad to cope with it. We've got 3 injuries, which makes it a little bit trickier, but after the confidence from the last couple of episodes, we really are hoping we can do something special. We've obviously had the Carabao Cup final, and then found a new hero in very unusual circumstances last time. That's basically assured us of a finish above Arsenal. We're 2 points above them with 3 games in hand, so hopefully that will do the trick there. The new hero has made a couple of appearances off the bench since, but I don't think he's going to be playing today, as we look to challenge for our first Premier League title. We've got a really busy end to the season coming up, which does show that we're doing well in all competitions, but let's firstly look back since the previous episode, that brilliant 3-0 win against Arsenal, 2 youth players in the starting lineup, due to a bug that meant we had 12 players on international duty. Arsenal had a full professional 11, but a youngster off the bench, Stuart John, our new youth intake hero, and he scored an absolute worldie of a goal, so if you did miss it, make sure you go back and check it out, and make sure you turn it down if you're wearing headphones. I will probably shock you a bit with that one, but the goal is well worth seeing. A fantastic young player, and I hope he contributes for years to come. The next game was almost as important, an FA Cup semi-final against Aston Villa. We beat them 2-0 at Wembley. Stuart John came off the bench again late on, made his second appearance in a week, and Silla and Omar got the goals either side of half-time to wrap up a Wembley final for us. We're going to be playing in the FA Cup final too. Can we make it a domestic cup double? Then in the Europa League quarter-final against Celtic, we nicked a 2-1 win away from home. It was a terrible start. We were 1 down in 2 minutes. Celtic dominated the first 20, and Stevie Maxwell kept us in the game. But then Opoku and Ramos came back with late goals as we went more attacking and got back into it. Kozul missed a penalty unfortunately, but in the end it didn't really matter. Then a 1-0 win followed away from home against our favourite side, Blackburn. We always save our best performances for them, and although we didn't do quite that on this occasion, it was a comfortable 1-0 win. After Alex Andrade got an early goal, Blackburn didn't really threaten. Then in the second leg against Celtic we won 2-0, an early goal from Rutherford and then Cater off the bench, as Stuart John made yet another appearance, as his 3rd for the club already. All of them in different competitions as well, so we are trying to give him a big chance. Then at home to Aston Villa, this time in the league, another 2-0 win, no, the same outcome. Andrade and Sousa with first half goals that comfortably put us back into the top 4. So now we've got a really tricky run-in to come. We still face Liverpool, City and United today, of course. We've got AC Milan in the Europa League semi-final, Everton in the FA Cup final, and look at that little run of games. We've got Thursday the 28th against Milan, then the Sunday against Southampton, Tuesday against Brighton, Thursday against Milan, and then Sunday against City. Thankfully we do then get a break to the FA Cup final, though why there couldn't have been one in that midweek, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. It means we've got 2 in the other midweek instead, so the Brighton game's going to be a little squeezed in. It's difficult really, because the Watford, Southampton and Brighton games are the 3 that we really would have expected to win, and the City one could be crucial in the title race, just 3 days after the Milan game, which could seal a first European final. So loads of big moments coming up. I have no idea what to prioritise. Most of you seem to have suggested Europe so far, but if we can win a Premier League title, that probably wasn't expected at the time. So we are going to have to think about things a little, but we've got a pretty decent squad now, and that's the reason we spent all that extra money in the summer. Our first European campaign, we had to prepare for moments like this, and hopefully that will pay dividends when we get into the busy last month. But enough about that, it's a big game at the top of the Premier League, so let's go and get into it. Hopefully we'll enjoy the occasion, and fingers crossed we'll get a positive result too. The only good thing to come from today is that Liverpool play Tottenham as well, so one of them aren't going to get a good result. Hopefully it will be Tottenham in the sake that we can compete for the Premier League title, but I guess if Liverpool lose, it gives us a better chance of finishing in the top four. So I'm not quite sure what our expectations are still, or which way I even want that game to go. What I would like is Brighton to shock Chelsea, as that wouldn't impact us the other way. But let's go and get into the game and have a look at our lineup for this one. United are very slight favourites, despite a suspension and a couple of knocks. We've obviously got 3 injuries too, and we'll go and see who those are in a moment. If we go to the medical centre, you can see that it is good players we're missing today, and it does make it a little bit more difficult for us. Omar in central midfield still out, and then Gonzalez and Maxwell the backup keeper, they won't have quite as much of an impact, but they will be missed in the midweek games and don't allow us to rotate as much as we'd like. But for today, I'm afraid Stuart John's back out the team. He's got 3 appearances, which he probably didn't expect a couple of months ago, and he's obviously given us a memory, which will be one of our favourites to look back on at the end of the series. But for now, let's look at the 11 that start today. Stojanovic is in goal as always. Quirk and Moraes the fullbacks, with Mon-Iversen and McDonald at centre-half. Bacanes in the holding role. Lappin and Keita in central midfield. Keita moving over to his preferred advanced playmaker role to replace Omar, who's out injured. And then Lappin comes in the Mazzala role, something he's completely comfortable with. Sousa and Silla play on the 2 wings, with Andrade continuing up front. He's on to 16 goals now and doing really well. It's been a good first season in English football for him. In terms of our assistant ratings, the only slight dilemma is centre-half. Mon-Iversen hasn't really been improving off the pitch, got a little bit stuck in a rut in terms of his development, whereas Gabriel Recchio is coming along nicely, and he's now rated as 4-star by our assistant manager, mainly because of the improvement to his mental attributes. So we've got 3 really good options at the back there, and then obviously the experienced Beja behind them. He'll probably be off in the summer, but he's got a big contribution to make yet. But let's go and get into this game at Old Trafford. We're sticking with a positive mentality for now, but I'm not too worried about going back to balanced if we have a shaky start to the match. We'll tell the lads to pick up where they left off. They've been putting in some brilliant performances. We've got one of the longest unbeaten runs in our history at the moment, and we continue to do well against big sides. Let's go and have a look to see what formation United are playing. It's a 4-4-2, and look who's up front. Michael Duncan, who couldn't get a game for us. The wonder kid is now 21 years of age, and he's getting plenty of game time for Manchester United. I'd argue Andrade's better than him, and he certainly suits our style of play more. But let's go and get into the kick-off. Fingers crossed it'll be a strong first half performance. As I've mentioned, we're starting in this positive mentality. As Bacanes skippers the side, he's confident in the middle of the pitch and keeps possession well as Keita goes through towards Andrade. It's intercepted and cleared long by United, though McDonald does well to win the header. Not letting the ball into our half, though Juninho does just that now. Mon-Iversen intercepts the through ball again, as the 2 centre-halves are reading the game brilliantly, and we can come away with Silla on the left-hand side. He's found Andrade one-on-one. It's a brilliant save from the United keeper as we almost take the lead in the first minute. A clear-cut chance to start the game off, and we're going to regret that missed chance, I'm sure. Janssen heads over from a United corner, and with 5 minutes gone it's still 0-0. A brilliant chance for us in the first minute, but unfortunately it's gone begging. We're back with a United corner on the left. An in-swinger from Felipe, but the keeper comes out brilliantly. Stojanovic, he's done a fantastic job this season. Rolls it out to Bacanes under pressure there though, and I thought I was going to have to eat my words, but in the end we managed to hack it clear, though United get possession back. Almost a quarter of an hour gone, and we've not done too badly trying to play our positive mentality. We really have done quite well going forward, though we do look a little shaky at the back. Duncan holds the ball up for United though. Juninho crosses towards Ramirez, is headed away as far as Henrique, but his shot goes comfortably wide at a post. A quarter of an hour gone and United haven't had a shot on target yet, and we look pretty comfortable at 0-0 at the moment. Andrade has a free kick which goes miles over the bar. I'm not quite sure why they bothered to show us that. It's a throw on the left for United, Ramirez to take it, a good advanced position, but we get the header away, though it's only gone as far as Felipe, who's got it 25 yards out. He shoots over the bar, and again it wasn't worth seeing, a really poor chance and never looked like scoring. Nearly half an hour gone then, a Felipe outswinging corner, headed away but back in for the second time. Purboy's header goes straight into the keeper's arms, and we still survive after half an hour, but United are getting back into it. We'll just see out this highlight as Keita loses it to Felipe. We were going to drop to a balanced mentality, but we may well concede here. We don't, as it's a brilliant save from the keeper, then Mon-Iversen hacks it away for a throw. So we're going to go back to balanced, and hopefully that'll see us through to half time. Though Felipe's causing trouble again in midfield. He plays a 1-2 with Henrique. Up to Ramirez on the edge of the box. His shot goes wide of the right hand post. Another comfortable long shot to defend, but United certainly looking the better side now. There's the half-time whistle then. Just 4 shots on target in the game, 1 brilliant save from both keepers, and a pretty decent result for us so far. It would make the top 4 a little bit closer, as United wouldn't close the gap, and I'm not quite sure what the scores were in the other ones. I don't know if they've actually kicked off yet. It suggests that they're all 0-0, which could be the most boring half of football the Premier League's seen in a while. It's Felipe for Manchester United though, as they come forward early in the second half. Bastin to Juninho, but Keita intercepts, though we're back with Juninho again on the right. Mon-Iversen heads it as far as Lappin. He heads it on, but it's only to Felipe. Rafael Henrique shoots from miles out, and Stojanovic has to tip it over the bar. A corner to be taken, an in-swinger from Felipe again. We've said that a few times today already. It's their 10th corner of the match. They've got it on the edge of the box as we head away. Pearson goes wide to Felipe again. His delivery into Michael Duncan, but he heads it wide against his former club. We would have been a bit upset if he'd scored against us. Rafael Henrique's got to be closed down, but we've now got the ball with Lappin on the right. He goes back to Bacanes, midway inside our own half, and Keita charges over halfway, but then concedes possession with an awful long ball. We've got a warning to close Michael Duncan down, so McDonald's going to mark him tightly, as Pearson keeps it a centre-half for United, and they build from the back quite comfortably. Henrique on halfway to Felipe. Got a man over on the right, but soon finds Duncan instead. He gets it to Juninho wide, Henrique shoots it, hits the bar, and Moraes hacks it away for a throw-in. It's a throw-in at right back for United. Bastin takes it to Henrique. He's got time in the middle of the pitch and goes back to the centre-half Pearson. He goes forward to Ramirez, into Janssen on the edge of the box. A brilliant strike into the bottom corner. Stojanovic gets a hand to it but can't make the save. So we're going to go back to a positive mentality and we're going to demand a bit more from the lads. An hour gone and we'll give it a few minutes before making a couple of substitutions. 20 to go and no real change. No chances either, so we'll have to make some subs. Sousa's had a poor game. We're going to replace him with Rutherford. Andrade will go out to the right hand side and Rutherford through the middle. We've got Silla who's very frustrated. Daniel Kozul can come on for him. And then Lappin's anxious in central midfield. So Juan Manuel Ramos gets a chance in there. Hopefully he'll do well for us today. And we'll switch Keita into the Mazzala role. 20 minutes to go. Hopefully we'll get a chance. But at the moment it doesn't look likely. It's a throw in at left back for United. Ramirez has got it in the middle to Felipe. They're keeping it comfortably and they look so composed. Why they're in 7th I'm not quite sure. Janssen charging through us again. He's a fantastic centre forward and the ball goes long towards Rutherford but it's headed away to Kozul. He finds Ramos on halfway. Janssen I think is still the top scorer in the Premier League and that finish sort of proved why, as he's in again now for 2. He beats Stojanovic to it but manages to put it just over. Just 5 minutes to go, we still haven't looked like scoring, so we're going to change to very attacking, just throw everything at them, see if it works. Ramos has got it on halfway to Andrade, he's got 2 or 3 ahead of him. Goes back to Ramos though, who gives it away. A poor 5-yard pass misplaced, and there's been a far too many of them in the second half. Janssen's into the box, a brilliant save by the keeper. He's been our best player again, which tells you how poor we've been in this half. We've not had a shot in ages, and United now dominating the game. Felipe takes the corner and in-swinger. The highlight ends midway through the delivery, so we've no idea what happened with it, but now we're back with Ramirez. He switches it to Purboy on the right for them. Blocked and now Kozul can come away with it. It would be a really undeserved equaliser if we get one, but we certainly wouldn't complain. Andrade to Keita and now Ramos. He does put it in, but he's offside. I saw the flag before I went too excited, and thankfully that saved me a bit of embarrassment. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time. A lovely finish, but but it doesn't count. Ramos loses it in the middle again. He's been awful when he's been asked to pass it. Cooper goes back to Purby as United continue to play composed football. It's Villar at the back for them. Plenty of time as Rutherford slow to close down. It's long towards the right back area. Quirk only heads it as far as Ramirez. Jones with a shot which is blocked away, and it's going to be a throw in for the home side. In towards Ramirez and on to Janssen. He can deliver, it's a good block, but United have a corner with a minute to go. It's exactly where they want the ball to be. Juninho goes wide to Felipe again. They're not time wasting in fairness, though Andrade blocks the cross and now he can come away with it. It's our last chance to grab an equaliser. He's hit it aimlessly downfield to the centre half, who recovers possession for United. We've been by far second best in this one, and it's a bit of a worry into the run-in. I think any ambitions of winning the title are gone, and we're going to have to focus on the top four. It's the last chance with 25 seconds left. A long throw from Richard Quirk. Into the middle, Purby heads away, and Keita recycles it in the middle. Quirk finds Baccanes. Out to Quirk again. Last chance to deliver, and it's blocked. Felipe composed, but Quirk wins it back. Keita finds Ramos again. Now Baccanes. It's going to be all over. It's a 1-0 win for United. Thoroughly deserved after the first half an hour. We fell apart once we conceded the goal, and United dominated the rest of the game. A good win for them, and they're back in contention. They'll now just be a couple of points behind us. We'll tell the lads it was a good effort. We're still the underdogs in games like this. These lads have been performing so well all season, and we've got to keep their confidence high. Let's go and see what it does to the league table. Chelsea lost at Brighton. Liverpool and Spurs drew. It couldn't have gone much better for us in the other games. Even Everton lost ahead of our FA Cup final. I think City are safely going to win the league now. They're clearing first place on 78 points. Spurs are on 76 now, but they've still played 2 more than us, so we've got a chance to catch them if we want to. Chelsea remain a point behind us with that defeat, although they have played 2 games more than us still. United now back within 2 with just 1 more game played, and the same goes for Liverpool as well. Arsenal on 35 games still, we just haven't extended our gap to them. Let's just go and check the Premier League overview to see if Janssen's still the top scorer. A brilliant finish from him to seal that game, and he's well clear on 23 goals. A world-class elite striker, the 22-year-old Belgium is certainly a good player. He's got 7 in the Champions League too. Let's go and see what the media have said about the game. Manchester United dominate it. We can't really argue with that. Neil Wood's gloating about the difference in quality between the 2 managers when he's got a far bigger budget to play with. Janssen there on 225 grand a week, double what anyone earns at Torquay. We'll deal with the post-match press conference off camera, as we've got to focus on when we'll next be back. We've got some massive games coming up, of course. The second leg of that Europa League semi-final, the FA Cup final too, and in one of those 2 games could be crucial Premier League ones, Manchester City and Liverpool away. 3 tough away games to finish the season. So depending on how the league fixtures go, I can't really say for sure when we'll be back, but I'm definitely going to show the second leg of the Europa League, as well as of course the FA Cup final. So those 2 games will definitely be on camera, and we'll probably have at least 1 more in the Premier League too. A slightly longer season, but we're competing for trophies, and that's something we've not really been able to say so far in this story. So we're going to make the most of it, and hopefully we'll add at least 1 more. I wouldn't mind if it's the FA Cup final, the one trophy we missed out on in our Journeyman series. The crucial thing, of course, is getting in the top 4 or qualifying for the Champions League by winning the Europa League. We really want to get the extended transfer budget next season. We saw how much of a difference it made this year, and we paid for a few players in instalments, so we're going to have a reduced budget next season unless we break into that big European competition. But of course we could still win trophies in the meantime, and that's the thing we've got to focus on, and by the time we get to those 2 big games on camera, we'll hopefully have Omar, our star midfielder, back. But if you did enjoy this episode, even though it was a slightly disappointing performance, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Our first defeat since January against Everton, that one by the same scoreline just over 3 months ago. So a brilliant unbeaten run since then, and only 2 draws in all of those games as well. So we certainly can't complain about the odd poor game, as these lads have been performing at their best for some time. Hopefully we'll recover in the other competitions and manage to sneak a top 4 place in the league. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with the fixture congestion. It is obviously a little bit compact in May, and we've got a game every 2 or 3 days, so I don't know which competition to prioritise. I guess if we win the Watford and Southampton game, it does mean that we can prioritise the cups, and it will depend on how we get on in the first leg of the Europa League, which is going to be a really difficult match. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content, including 3 episodes a week from this Torquay United story, as well as the same number of episodes from our brand new FM19 challenge. That one started last week on Monday. We're saving a giant as we join them in a world of trouble, and we're trying to build their side back up the league table, as well as competing in the cup competitions. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone that's followed that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough we did beforehand. I really have been blown away for the support with both of them, and I can't thank you enough for giving them a try, and I hope you continue to enjoy the cricket content. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career. That's every Friday at 4:30, as we lead toward the World Championships at the end of the first season, as we try to take Sean O'Sullivan to glory. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you'll join me in the next week or so for the thrilling climax to the season, as we try to compete for another 3 trophies to add to the Carabao Cup already.